In the previous video, we created a new database with a single table. Now it's time to finish that table. Once you have a design, tables are the first thing you build. I'm going to put our design up here for reference, and then I'll double-click the ID field here. You can see it becomes writable, and I'll rename the field as Customer ID. This is my primary key, and here's something to remember. All your tables must have a primary key. They're a part of good database design. You break your data into tables, and you give each table a primary key. I'm naming this one Customer ID because that way I know where the values in the field come from, the customer's table. And when I press Enter here, Access selects the next blank field, and it shows me a menu. This is a list of data types, and every field in your database has to have one. Data types make storage more efficient because they control the size of your fields. For example, if you only need to capture names, you don't have to create a huge storage space for those names. That may not seem important in our example, but it is when you have a lot of data. Data types also help you prevent mistakes. For example, you can't enter a name in a field set to contain dates and times. So let's take a quick look at the data types you can use. Short text, which holds up to 256 characters. Number, currency, date time, and yes/no. A yes/no field can contain yes, no, true, false, or 1 and 0. Lookup and relationship isn't a data type. It lets you create lists of choices, and I'll show you how to do that in the next video. Rich text and long text both let you store a gigabyte of text. Desktop databases use rich text, and Access apps use long text. The main difference between them is you can apply fonts and other formatting to rich text, such as bold and italic. The attachment data type lets you attach pictures and other files to a record, just like email. Hyperlink lets you store web and email addresses, and the calculated field data type lets you do things like combine first and last names or calculate a discount. Also, you're not seeing it in the menu because it's already used in this table, but notice the auto number data type. It assigns a sequential number whenever you add a new record. The thing to remember is you can't change or delete a value in one of these fields. Access won't let you, and that's why so many primary keys use this data type, because as a rule, you never want to change primary key values. Also, when you build a table in an Access app, you can use the image data type instead of the attachment data type to store and display images. So I'll select short text for this field because I'm only storing names, and notice that after I select the type, the header becomes writable. I'll enter first name and press Tab to select the next blank field. Short text again, enter last name, press Ctrl+S to save the table, and I'll call it Customers. So that's it for this table. That's all we need, a primary key and a field for first and last names. In the next video, I'll show you how to use the Table Designer to build the second table in our example. But before I do, let's revisit the design principles we've covered here. Every table has a primary key, every field has a data type, and did you notice how I broke the names into first and last? That's another rule. Each field holds the smallest possible unit of data. So keep going, and we'll build the second table.